Welcome everyone to the 10th edition of the eLabFTW community meeting. I'm Sydney. I'm the customer success manager and also the research application specialist. And today, for the first time ever, there are 4 people joining us from Delta Blot because we have a new employee who is Elsa, who is joining us as a full stack developer. Say hi, Elsa.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting because it's just a lot easier for us to do things now that there are more of us, and there's a whole development team now. So it's kind of the theme of this meeting today. But also, if you haven't come to a meeting for a bit, you might not know Moose, our other full stack developer. You can say hi if you want. And then we also have Nico, who everyone probably knows is the founder and the lead developer. So today we're going to talk about where there's going to be a few different elements, but it's going to be quite an open style of meeting. So first, we're going to talk about the new version of eLabFTW, which just came out, and there are a lot of new fixes and features in this one. So we will let Nico talk about that, so everyone knows what's going on as they move towards updating on their own, or they will already have it updated if they're hosted by us. And then after that, we're going to talk about some proposed future developments. So there's some ideas we have about the user interface that we'd like to just get your guys' feedback on. And then also we'll have open conversation to just sort of basically we've achieved some of our goals recently in the development, and now we're going to be planning the roadmap for the next version. And so we'd love to get everyone's input on that and just get an idea of what sort of priorities people have. Um, yeah, so if there's anything I missed or if there's anything anyone would like to add to the agenda, let us know in the chat. And feel free to raise your hand or type something. And yeah, we just encourage participation generally. So from there, I'll let Nico take it away with the introduction to the newest version. Oh, yes, and we also have a new version of the documentation that's looking really good. So Nico, you can also talk about that.
Yes, thank you, Sydney. Yeah, I was going to start with the documentation. So for the past 12 years or something, like we had this documentation that was on a Sphinx engine in restructured text, and now we moved to Docusaurus. And so Docusaurus is another engine for documentation. The source code of the document are in Markdown, so it's easier to work with than restructured text. And so this documentation has also a dark theme and a light theme. We'll come back to that for eLab. And it allows us also to split a bit more the documentation, because right before the documentation, everything was on the left side, and you had like a first part installation and the second part more like usage. So now we have a first level of menu, which is the top here, so the big menu. Then on the left, you have a second level, and then on the right, you even have a third level inside the page. So that's also something nice. And you have a next button that can tell you, okay, so I read this, I read that, then next I click, and then there is also the possibility to have this kind of button here to jump to other places. And I think it's just a nicer interface. So we've been migrating all the documentations, the old ones in there. Normally everything is there more or less. Some stuff got reorganized. The old URLs will point to the new URLs. So normally you shouldn't have some 404 issues. And you have this part, which is really about the installation of it and the sysadmin aspect of it, like how you will create teams after you install it and this kind of stuff, do the backups, how to upgrade, these kind of things. And the second tab is more about using it. So it's really for users of the application, not the technical sysadmins. And then, so I tried to organize a bit. I think it still needs a bit more reorganization to be a bit clearer. But everything is there with a lot of screenshots everywhere. We explain like the new modal for creating stuff. We have really like, yeah, explaining as much as we can with the templates, with everything. So this is now live. And we will continue to complete it with more and more content because, yeah, you never have too much documentation. And there is a new thing, which is the tutorials. So a lot of time, people are really asking for users, new users are asking for something to help them get started, you know. So right now, there are only two tutorials because this one doesn't really count. And here, for instance, this question, can I import my data from an Excel spreadsheet, is really a question that we have a lot of time. So this is how you can do it via the REST API. And so we have really something that explains everything, goes step by step, little by little, and show you everything up to some point where I got tired of it and I just like, okay, so here is the full script, go with it. But we will complete it. By the way, Moose, remind me to add the video recording of your
Yeah.
workshop for the API.
Workshop, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be nice in this page.
Yeah,
The
true.
open cloning one is the one that existed before, and there is also a video, and so it's really complete. By the way, for the people that will upgrade, remember to also upgrade the open cloning one, so there has been a few changes. And then we have the contributing part, which is more for people that want to contribute to the code. And so now we will also, instead of having just one page with thousands of stuff, we can split a bit more the different aspects of it. Remember that you can contribute to this project via no-code contribution. And I know a lot of you are contributing by opening GitHub issues. So we really appreciate that you do that, because it's important for us that you tell us about the issues that you have, because sometimes we cannot figure them out by ourselves. So it's important to directly tell us if you find an issue. And now we are going to this new version 5.4 that was released this weekend. And of course, like any new version for the past every time, there was a bug that needed to be fixed. So skip 5.4.0, use directly 5.4.1, please. So there were two bugs. One was not super problematic, but still, it's just that you could not read an experiment template, so a resource template, and I think it was also impacting the creation of new resource from a template. And the other was a bit more problematic. It was an issue where all the modification dates was at the moment where the update was made. So yeah, we published a fix right away as soon as we were aware of these issues. But it's also something that we will try to minimize in the future by providing alpha and beta version earlier in the cycle of development. So as soon as we will start to have new code in a branch, we will start to make alpha release, even if it's super early in the release cycle, to try and find issues better, and we will improve our test suite even better. But yeah, of course, we cannot think about all the problems that can arise. So that's why it's important, if you can, to help us find bugs by deploying the alpha and beta version to a staging instance. If you have a staging instance, it's really helpful for us to know if something are problematic. Okay, and so we have a blog post that explains some new features, and there will be a video that we will produce with Hussein from University of Frankfurt and Sydney. And one of the big new feature would be this new modal window. So when you click the create button, it used to be this window that appears that was a bit confusing and a bit messy and not super clear. And then sometimes you had also another model that would open with a title, asking for a title. So here we streamline this with just one model for every type of stuff. And when you click on the experiment page, create new, it will create a new experiment, but you still have the possibility to change the type of entry. And you directly type a title or not. You can also press create or press enter directly. So also on the keyboard aspect of it, it's now much better. You can click create, type something, press enter, and that's it. You're in edit mode. So this is also something that we like to have in the application to make it easy to work with the keyboard driven interaction. And then you have the possibility to click start from a template, which will open a new panel in the same window where you can search for templates. And you can filter also the scope, and you can filter also the category of templates and type for keywords directly in there. So hopefully this new modal window will make it easier to find templates, create things from templates, create new things. We also added a new little button here on the top right of the bar to directly create an experiment or a resource from anywhere, because sometimes you don't see the create button, you want to create something. So now it's this little plus icon here. Regarding the listing, we changed how it was listed with a more concise, and we also show now the last modified date on this page, which is also pretty useful. And this is also something that was asked by the community. When you start to have a lot of users that are archived, they were previously always shown in this menu. Now you can show the archived one, and they are not shown by default. So that's something that we added. And in the same spirit, we also have now this filter for categories that do not belong in your team. So the filters and status now are a more complete drop-down menu where you can filter things with typing here. But also you have this new button, Show All. And when you click this button, you will see all the other categories or status from the other teams. But by default, they will be marked as private, meaning that if you are, for instance, a macroscopy platform and you want to allow users from your instance to browse all your macroscopes, you will have to uncheck this mark as private toggle, so that everyone can see your macroscopes in this menu. When you click Show All, it will switch to scope equal everyone, and it will also add the team name in front of the category so that you see from which team this category exists. Because of course, like probably many people will have the same plasmid category or antibody category. So you will have the team name in front of it. So that, we hope, will solve that issue that you could not browse, filter through categories if some people shared stuff outside of the team. Henri, c'est petite dédicace pour toi. Export compounds usage. So that's something also that you can do. In fact, I can show you on this. Do I have this latest version in there? 5.4.0. Okay. It's not the correct one, but it will work. So here you can go into your profile, or into the export page, which is in your profile, so it's the same. And here you can export a CSV of all the compounds that you link to experiment your own. And I need to change also this sentence, because I also added the compounds linked to resources linked to your experiments. Okay, so when you make experiments and you link to a resource that is some compounds that is linked to a compound, it will be taken into account, and then you have this CSV file with everything that you manipulated during the period that you chose. So that's an aspect that can be important for security, for hygiene security in French, to know if you manipulated dangerous stuff, for instance. It's important to be able to extract this. we also added an integration with DSpace. So DSpace is a digital repository in their world. So it's something where you can put data for long-term archiving and also publishing. And I don't know, so this was asked by the University of Frankfurt, so we thank them for sponsoring this feature. And Mustafa, you were the one implementing this feature. Do you want to tell a few words about it?
Well, not particularly. Yeah, it was a nice implementation because it allows us to have now an external repository where you can just have one button to export your data inside another repository. So it's pretty easy to use. Just as Nico is showing, you have to configure your host username and password. So I guess maybe it will be one username per team and one password, one account, I mean, per team, and people will be able to just send experiments or resources to the DSpace repository directly. So yeah.
Yeah. So feel free to
Yes, you have to create your collection.
yeah, feel free to test this feature and let us know if there are things that you would like to see. Okay, lockable steps. So that's also a feature that was sponsored by LabLinks. So we thank them for sponsoring this feature. And it is the possibility to lock steps in a template. So a locked step cannot be modified, like the content of it cannot be modified, it cannot be deleted, it cannot be moved, but it can be finished. And so that's something if you want to have templates where users cannot just delete a step, you can use this feature to lock a step. Some stuff for the sysadmins. So now you have the possibility to show the usage charts in the sysconfig panel. So you can click show usage histogram and it will show you the experiments, resource, and users number over time. For the y-axis, you need to put your mouse on the bar to get the number. And so this also goes in pair with this new open metrics endpoint. So if you are using Grafana, Prometheus, this kind of stuff, it might be useful to plug your Grafana, your Prometheus to this endpoint so that you can collect the metrics and display this kind of graphs. But for if you have many instances, also it can be useful. I'm thinking of Nikki. I think it can be nice to replace the script that you made, or to continue using the script that you made, but using this endpoint, which is valid with anything that can read open metrics standard. Regarding SAML authentication, so be careful when you update your instance to 5.4, double check that the SAML authentication works. If it doesn't, it might be because so now in the SAML, we did an improvement so that an IDP can have as many certificates as possible. So this is also to work with Entra ID, for instance, which provides many certificates that can change like often. So it's a bit different from our normal IDPs that we have in federations, in research federations, where it changes like once every blue moon. Here it changes like it can change every month or something. And you can have like 5 valid certificates at the same time. So now the certificates and the endpoints are part of the IDP. And if that doesn't work, you can import again all the endpoints and the certificates by clicking refresh. So if you have like cannot show it here, but if you have an XML endpoint here, click the refresh button and it will fetch all the certificate and the endpoints. And normally everything should work fine afterwards. So it is a backward compatible change, but it could happen that for some reason you are missing some endpoint, for instance. because it was not configured, I don't know. But yeah, now the SAML code is also better. So yeah, we improved a lot of this. Then yeah, so after there was like I don't know how many commits, but we fixed like a lot of stuff everywhere. Alexander, we added a little Safari warning to users, because I remember it was you asked for this. We improved also the accessibility for the new version of the WCAG standard to have really the best accessibility we can have. Yeah, there were some weird bugs that, of course, we never spotted because we never wrote tags in Korean. So this is really something that we can only figure out if people report issues. Few changes to the API that we document here, and now we also document the responses. And I realized, Moose, we completely forgot to add a section for the dark mode, right?
Dark mode, yeah. Yep, I just noticed we have the picture at the beginning of the
Yeah,
blog,
there
but
is a
we
picture, but
forgot the
there is
text.
nothing. Okay. But
So it's like a
maybe
teaser.
it can be your first pull request
Yep,
on this new documentation engine.
yep,
But I
of
can
course,
show it
yeah.
to you here. So basically, you can change the theme now. And wow, it is now in dark mode,
Fresh.
which if you are working in a macroscopy room, you will probably enjoy a lot. So if you see some discrepancies, some things that have a wrong contrast, something that needs to be improved, feel free to open an issue and Moose will get right on it. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful work to have this. It was also the opportunity to improve our CSS code. So CSS is the stuff making the colors on the application. And we also left the room to have other yeah, like I don't know, sepia or maybe high contrast.
Contrasted.
Yeah, high contrast like you have on Mac. On Apple software, you have this high contrast mode, which is super helpful if you have some vision discrepancies and not discrepancy, disability. And so, yeah, because we really want to have a software that can be used by everyone, we want it to be inclusive. We need to also take that into account. And also, I'm thinking about it now, for les daltoniens, I don't remember in English. Les daltoniens, c'est pas des daltoniens en anglais, c'est autre chose. People that don't see colors. It's only men that are
Colorblind.
affected by this.
Yep,
Comment?
colorblind.
Yeah,
Colorblind.
colorblind.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep, that's how
The
it's.
colorblind. So yeah, if you have color blindness, there are some things that can be done so that some colors will appear a bit differently, depending also on which color blindness you have, because there are several types depending on what you're missing in your eye. So yeah, that's the stuff that now we can implement. But the first one was really dark, and light mode. And yeah, so yeah, basically everything is dark now. Okay, okay, so we did the doc, we did the new features. I think that's about it. Yeah. Okay, so you can update to the .1 version, or if you're scared about it, you can wait for the .2 or .3 because I'm sure that new bugs will be found, but hopefully they are not important bugs, but there are always bugs, and that's the life of software. It's normal. So that's it for the release. As you can see, there are many changes. So yeah, many things. We won't go through them. And now, I don't know, maybe we can take a breather here to see about the questions that you might have regarding this new version before we move on to another section of this meeting. And I will read also a bit the chat. Okay, colorblind, yeah. So there is a question from Jan. The problem we had that was reported as Safari specific is that links between resources and experiment are not saved. Can this be related to the rendering engine? I remember fixing recently a bug that the link was saved but was not displayed. So that's maybe that was this if you were on the alpha version. Christian, thanks for the great presentation. We have already installed the new version on our test system and noticed that there are still problems with SML. We use kicklock. Yeah, kicklock maybe. Okay. Apparently, the HTTPS functionality in the binding no longer works. Only HTTP redirect seems to be possible now. So yeah, basically, or maybe I will have to look into it again. But normally, from what I understood, the HTTP post binding never worked because the library that we used never had support for it. Maybe I'm doing a mistake, but that's what I have in mind right now. It's only using HTTP redirect. So please open an issue, we can look into it, but I think now it wants an HTTP redirect URL for with the HTTP redirect binding because the SAML PHP library that we use only ever supported HTTP redirect. So let me know if I'm wrong, and maybe there is some other setting about it, but yeah, with this new SAML stuff, there is only HTTP redirect. Alexander asking, will it be possible to integrate other repository solution as well? For example, we are using Invenio RDM. So Invenio is the upstream from, wait, what's the name? From Figshare, no, Zenodo. Invenio, if I correct, Invenio is the upstream open source software from that one. So yeah, of course, we will be able to add other repositories. That's the idea. This space was the first one because it was a sponsored feature. It was the custom development request. And we hope to have time to add more. There is also Dataverse that we probably will be our first target for a better integration with it.
There's also the questions in the Q&A because Marvin, for example, question is related to the space also. If you can,
yeah,
it would allow
okay.
us to keep on the same subject. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mustafa, but I think if you don't fill the dspace URL, the button doesn't exist, right?
I think the button exists, but maybe it should be disabled or shown in gray.
Isn't it the
And
case
if
already?
it's not, well, I guess not, since we have this message from Marvin, which we can do quite easily. So there's no problem for that.
Oh yeah, it's not disabled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be disabled. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it just tells you that it's not configured. Yep.
So yeah. So yeah. So Mouz, tu te fais une petite note.
Yep.
Disable. En plus, ouais, c'est super facile à faire. Ok. Donc ça, c'est bon. Il faut que je fasse ça. Je réponds en direct. Ok, terminé. Ok, donc je regarde les questions-réponses. Anders, looks nice. Will the documentation be version? Yeah. So yeah, the versioning of documentation is something that's on my mind. I want to have this eventually. At the moment, it's not. But yeah, I would like it to make it possible to browse older documentation version. So yeah, that's something that we will look into. Alexander, ok, ça c'est bon, on a répondu. Spectateur anonyme. Currently in 5.4.0, sysadmin cannot be removed from a team. Is this planned to be changed in future release? Yes, we know about this bug. It's problematic. We are also impacted by it, and we will try and fix it soon. It's just that there are always things to implement and things to fix, and at some point we have to publish a release because otherwise we would never publish release because there will always be bugs that we want to fix. But yeah, this one is a bit problematic. We will look into it for sure. Oh, I said for sure, like the president. Voilà, Zenodo, tac, Forum Apple Insider, ok, very cool. Benjamin, wouldn't it be more intuitive to put the plus button for creating experiment and resource from anywhere closer to the experiment and resource on the left side? Or maybe it's just me. Well, I don't know. I like it on the right side because the create button is already on the right side. So it makes sense that if you're looking for creating something, you look in the upper right corner, which in a lot of applications, that's where you find the place to create something. Another question out of curiosity, is an official MCP server version planned for eLab that can be used with LLM services? So for everyone, MCP protocol is a protocol for large language models, so AI, to speak with tools like eLab. So there was an issue that was opened about it a few months ago, and I closed it because it was super new also, this MCP stuff. Let's see how it sticks, because there are some issues also with that protocol, because that protocol has been vibe coded, whereas if you look at HTTP specification, there are still issues with HTTP specification, but at least humans took a long time to make it good. This one, I'm not a big fan of it. Let's see if that's something we want to implement. Let's see in the future. I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. I'm just saying let's wait and see.
Nico,
Well,
there's a question that just got missed from Hussein that says, today a user asked me what the plans are for the spreadsheet editor. Anyone have anything to say about that?
Moose,
Yeah. Well, we do have a lot of incoming requests for the spreadsheet editor about the sheets, for example, multiple sheets. So we've been discussing. I don't know if it's too early to talk about it, but we engaged discussions with the J spreadsheet team, which is the team behind the spreadsheet editor, and we are actually looking for a way to implement the mainstream version of the spreadsheet editor, because we currently have the community edition, and it would allow us to have a lot more features instead of just trying to add them step by step by ourselves, and also have a lot more secure way of handling the data, because that's their specialty, that's their main focus also. So yep, it's on the way. Yeah.
it's a bit similar to what we have with the full calendar library. So the library that is behind the scheduler, they provide a way to have the pro version for open source project by putting the license key, I am open source, or something like that, which is great, and allows us to distribute this featureful version to everyone, because that's our problem. If we were closed source and we had only one eLabFTW.com, it's okay, we could just buy a license and deploy it. But here we want to redistribute a software, and so of course we cannot redistribute something with our key baked in for everyone to use. So that's why we want to discuss with them to see if we can find a solution, so that we will sponsor, of course, their development. But the question is, can we also make all the users of eLab access this pro version, or not community edition version?
I just want to point out that there are a bunch of different comments about the Safari browser issue. And I don't know if you already addressed this, but Jen is saying that they have the same problem with Firefox on iPad. So maybe the problem is intrinsic to the iOS, and the problem is that the resources and experiments don't link.
Yeah, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone that knows about it, that the Firefox engine in iOS is the Safari engine, because iOS makes everyone use their own engine. So you end up with the bugs from Safari, even if the UI and the rest of the application, the Chrome, is Firefox.
Okay, yeah, it just seems like this is an issue for a number of people. Is there anything we can do about this, or what do we recommend?
Yeah, we did something, Elsa. We did something with it. We put a banner. Hello, you are using Safari. Don't do that. Please use another browser. That's our solution to the bugs from Apple. Yeah.
But what if you're using Firefox on an iPad? What can you do?
Buy an Android tablet.
Hmm,
Yeah, honestly, we don't have a
that's
solution
a
to that.
tricky one.
Not 11. Yeah.
Okay, we have some new questions in the chat. I'm gonna say at this point, maybe put your questions in the Q&A and then your more comments in the chat, and then we'll be able to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay, so did we cover this last one from Oscar? In the tools section, the added compounds have information on who created the compound. Are there plans to add similar information to the added inventory locations as well?
Yeah, so regarding the inventory location and the container, so it will get improved. So one thing we want to add is also a comment section so that you can have a little comment regarding your container. So yeah, we probably can have more information about who added it, when, and stuff like this. I think for the moment it's a bit bare bone. But yeah, please also feel free to open GitHub issues with that so that we can keep track of this request. Okay, and there was one from Oana. Would it be possible to draw on or annotate an image, for example, a 96 well plate to highlight concentration, treatment, and add some note on it? Yeah, so once you upload a picture, if you go to the little three-dot menu on the top right corner of the image, there is a menu entry, annotate this image, and it will load it inside the drawing editor as a background image, and then you can draw on top of that. And then you can save that as a new image. So yeah, you can do that. And this has been for a long time now. Every browser on macOS is forced to use WebKit. Well, okay, thank you for confirming, Benjamin. Maybe adapt the warning because normal user won't understand that Firefox and iOS use browser engine from Safari. But normally, I think they should not see that message if they are using Firefox on iOS. I guess maybe we can try. Maybe we should try. If someone can go to the demo on Firefox on iOS. Ah, mais toi, Elsa, t'as un iPhone, non?
Ouais, yes.
Ouais, bah, look on the demo if you see the warning. I think not. Yeah. Okay, and question-réponse, Christian, will it be possible to edit spreadsheet directly in the experiment spreadsheet editor without having to download and upload them as new version each time?
Yep, we were talking about that feature of editing directly into the spreadsheet. I think not a lot of people saw it actually.
Yeah, so right now you can
maybe
edit.
share.
So you basically upload it once or create one from scratch. Then you can edit and save by not having to download it and upload them every time, so that you can already do that. One feature maybe that I'm thinking about is the possibility to export your table into a HTML table in the main text. So that's something also that would be interesting to add, this possibility to have your table also in the main text and not only as an uploaded file.
Maybe I can show quickly for the downloading and uploading part where people have this confusion. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the idea was that we didn't want to make any assumptions about which spreadsheet you want it to load for people who are using multiple spreadsheets.
Yep, exactly. Here it's like you don't have to actually download your sheet before uploading it again. You can just click directly this button and you can edit the file that you already had inside eLabFTW. That's the idea. So once you get to a new experiment, you can just use this button or also click on this one has 55,000 lines, so it takes a bit of time. Or click this button right here, which is load into the spreadsheet editor. And now you won't have to download and upload again the new version to replace it. So that's the idea behind this button. Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe you
click
have to make it more visible. Yeah.
Yeah, click the thumbnail icon and it will load into the spreadsheet editor.
Yes, exactly. This one.
And in fact, some people were surprised that when you load an experiment for the first time, there is nothing in the spreadsheet editor. So it's normal. It's because you can have multiple files and we won't assume which one you want to edit. So it won't be loaded. And especially if you have big files with a lot of rows, we don't want to load it every single time you open the experiment. So it needs to be an action. And this action is one click You just click on the thumbnail icon, which morphs into a pencil when you hover it, and it will load it into the spreadsheet editor. And then you edit it, and then you click save, and it will replace the current version of the file that was edited. Yeah, so Marvin is also saying that there is a difference between iOS in Europe and not. Okay. And Jan that says that Firefox on iOS gives the warning. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so it means that you are using Firefox, but you will still have the warning. So yeah, Alexander, I think we need to adapt the warning. I think you're right to say you are either using Safari or an iOS device which is known to cause issue. Use at your own risk, something like this.
And maybe we can just learn from today that that's definitely something that's affecting a lot of users. So maybe we should take some time to think about if there's more workarounds.
The problem is that Apple is really doing the bad player here and making a lot of time to implement stuff. And sometimes there are just bugs. I mean, we have a specific tag on GitHub issues, Safari, why are you like this? And sometimes, like we don't understand why this bug would happen only in Safari. And at this point, we don't have enough developers to worry about this. We are just like, sorry, it's not supported. Please use another browser. That's it. I think at this point, we cannot have another answer that, okay, we cannot work with this more than that.
It looks like it's not every user too. Like Nikki is reporting that she doesn't see that warning on an iPhone using Firefox.
On the
So
new version, Nikki? Ouais, Mustafa dit Safari iPhone warning, Firefox iPhone warning, Chrome iPhone no warning. So Chrome is not using WebKit anyway. Okay, that's getting a bit too technical.
we have some research to do about that, and that's been really great to hear everyone's feedback about that. So I think there was just one more question in here. Let me see if I can find it about the procurement requests being in beta. Do you want to handle that, Nico? And then we'll talk about the proposed changes to the user interface. And then at the very end, we'll just do a little bit of a blitz, and we're going to save the chat. Everything that you guys put in the chat, we'll save it. So this is kind of a free form moment if you want to just make suggestions or things you'd love us to focus. And then if you want to ask a specific question about something that Nico was talking about, please put that in the Q&A because we just only have about 15 minutes left. So let's move to these proposed changes to the user interface.
Yes, and attends, just before that, you said what about what?
The question about the procurement.
Yeah, the procurement. So the procurement stuff is still in beta. It has been since the beginning. It needs some love. Feel free to open issues with the specific points you would like to be added to it. We honestly didn't really change it more than that because basically we change things that people are asking us, that users are asking us to change. So the scheduler has seen a lot of improvement because we've had many requests from users asking us specific things. Very few or none at all regarding the procurement system, which is also kind of a egg and hen problem because you need to add features so that people use it so that you get more features. But yeah, anyway, feel free to suggest some things. So I will now share my screen for no, not the full screen, just this one. For this discussion that I started en novembre 2025, just some mock-up screenshots of how we would like to change some problem that we see if you have an experiment that has a lot of text. So some people we know have experiments with lots of text, so super long experiment, and then a bunch of files. And then a bunch of extra fields also, like many fields about many things. I don't think here I have like a lot of stuff, but yeah, imaging some fields and then maybe some steps also. Okay, and then this is open, and then maybe you have some links also. Ah, t'as vu, Mousse, le truc, il est blanc, là. Voilà,
Ouais.
and then le autocomplete du link is white. Ça, mes yeux brûlent. Tu vois ce que je veux
Yeah.
dire? Voilà. Okay, maybe this is open also, and this. Okay. So now, if I go back to the top of the experiment, I have to scroll all of this and this and that and this and this and this and that and that. Okay. So what we want is to have something that is a bit more better organized so that you don't have so many things to scroll around. And so one idea that we have is to have sub tabs. So once you are in edit mode, you have tabs. Le truc, you have tabs here with, in the first one, you will have like the basic stuff, like the tags, the starting date, and the main text, and the extra fields and the attach file. And we stop here. And then you have a dedicated tab for steps, dedicated tab for spreadsheet or links and storage, etc., etc. And so this will allow two things. One is to have less things that you use not often on the main page, and but also more place for other stuff elsewhere. For instance, if we look at the steps mockup, do we have it? Steps here. The steps, we can imagine to improve upon the steps because it will have its own little page. We will add more options, more things, longer steps. Also, that's something that people were asking. Also, to not have a single line but a bit more text, and maybe folders stuff. So all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the idea of it. The permission also, maybe we can have them a bit more visible on this side. So this is really reworking, so taking the same features, the same stuff, but changing the interface so that it's easier to use, more clear, less crowded, basically. So that's what we want to go to. I want to thank everyone that discussed about these features and send us some feedback about the way they see things, and so it's important to have this discussion. So feel free to join this conversation on GitHub. Voilà. Okay, yeah, so people are pretty positive about the new UI design. I see there is a question from Andrew. I like the update where you can add unskippable steps. Yeah, the lockdown steps. Might there be a similar way to make undeletable extra field, or is it too complex? Complex? Ouais, it's a good idea. I think we can totally have the same feature about locking things down. Currently, you can make extra fields read-only, but that's a bit different than lockable, locked down, basically. But yeah. Andrew, can you please open an issue on the repository for this so that we can keep track of it? And Christian, one more question from our teams. Would it be possible to mention people in steps? Yeah, I've been meaning to have this feature. I need it also. I want to have it to mention people, not mention, assign people. There are two things. There are the mentioning, like you mention someone and they get a notification. That's one thing. Mention them anywhere in the main text or in steps or wherever. And the other aspect is assign someone to something, and this something can be a step or can be a full experiment. This is also something that we would like to have the possibility to assign things like we do with the GitHub issue. I assign issues to people. I want to do the same in eLab. So yeah, that's something that we will want to implement also in the next version. Bertrand is mentioning the possibility to have URL links for each tab so that you can directly link to. Yeah, I think it's a nice UI aspect of it. And so yeah, regarding hiding, removing tabs on some templates and stuff. Yeah, it can be also something. It's actually something that was asked, the possibility to either hide or reorganize the different sections. So for the moment, you have to deal with static ordering and all the sections are present, even if you can collapse them. But yeah, having the possibility on the template to say, okay, on this template, we don't care about uploading files, for instance, or something. Yeah, why not?
And we also have a question from Hussein sent at 3:46 about extra fields. Some of the users would like to be able to have measured values with error values, for example, like plus or minus a gram. Is this something that we could do with the extra fields? So like instead of just having the
Mm,
units, you could have an approximation amount. Cool
yeah,
idea.
yeah, that would be a cool feature. Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, I think this, at least at first, once we have the comments, it could go into the comment, the error margin. But yeah, let's see. Ok, nanana, spreadsheet editor, don't go dark on dark mode. No.
No.
Just no, deal
Sorry.
with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we can do, but we have to style it ourselves because there's no a built-in module for the dark mode for the spreadsheet editor. So I tried, but it was not worth delaying the release for the dark mode. But maybe at some point we can try and figure it out, or maybe the pro version comes with that
That feature.
specifications, but that feature, yeah. But for now, no, not planned.
Well, it looks
Uh,
amazing. Thank you so much for doing that, Moose. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate being able to do dark mode.
Pleasure.
We have 5 minutes left in this meeting, so I think now is a great time if there's any just major pain points for you or things that I know we were really working on the spreadsheet editor for a while, and it's amazing that we've had so much progress with that. So we are just kind of thinking about what kinds of things to focus on in like the next year. If there's anything that you feel would be just super amazing, and you can imagine a version of yourself in a year being really, really happy that eLabFTW had this feature, definitely let us know right now because as you know, we have more people now, we can do more stuff, and we're just like ready to make some plans. So yes, thank you everyone for your input. Getting a lot of appreciation for the dark mode and
Thanks, Andrew. I already like kind of showed it beforehand because I had this background for a long time. It was a
you know
teaser.
what Moose is doing? He's going to the demo every morning to set it to dark mode.
Yeah,
People would see, would
that's
see.
commitment.
so we have no more open questions. If anyone feels that they posted a question in the or in the chat and we missed it, please just mention again. We had a lot of stuff to work through. And also, we are going to Japan in March. It's going to be really exciting. So if you are watching this from Japan, I think it's a pretty weird time right now, but if you're watching a recording of this, definitely get in touch to see where we'll be. We'd love to meet as many people as we can while we're there. And we're also looking for other conferences where we can meet you guys because a lot of us, we've been, communicating really regularly with a lot of the user community and we haven't actually met in person. And so we have started talking about doing an eLabFTW conference somewhere in Europe, probably. I think that would be really fun if you have like an idea for a place or a time. I think it would be in a long time, but it's a nice idea to start thinking ahead. And if you are giving a talk or you're meeting with a bunch of other users and you think it might be cool to have one of us there, let us know and we can see if we can make it. Yeah, well, I don't know. Does anyone else have anything else to say?
Thank you everyone for your positive comments. It's super nice. And Oscar, I took a screenshot of your comment because I think that's something we can easily add a little filter on top of the list of containers. So yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna save the chat. So all of this stuff, it's saved now and we can review it later. But yeah, if there's something you feel that we missed, just let us know. And it seems like people really like the idea of the tabs in the UI, so that's great. Okay, well, we'll let everyone go so that we can all move on to our next thing. But thank you so much for joining us, and we'll do this again in 2 months. We'll announce the time, in the next few weeks probably, and definitely take the time to check out the new documentation page. And if you have ideas for what needs to be there that's not there, definitely let us know because that's how it gets better is through your input. So
Or
thanks
if you
again.
spot issues,
Yeah,
in the documentation, things that are not up to date, let us know, please.
definitely.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Have a
Have a good
great
day.
day.